Welcome to today's Local Yokels Podcast. I am Neil Colley, your host. And as usual, we're bringing all things in the surrounding area, DeSoto County, Marshall County, Tunica, Memphis, whatever. I mean, we're just there. Tate. We're here to bring to you the amazing people that do amazing things in our community. So, and as usual, I'm going to spotlight what I do and love the most, which is Feed My Lambs. And today's show is about Feed My Lambs. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of the fact that who's involved when we have our big event coming up October 11th. So today's show is going to be about that. It's probably not going to be super long because we've covered a lot of bases. And but I have a special guest today that is new to all of us as far as the ones who are tuning into the Local Yokels Podcast that may not know the history of it. You've met Miss Billie Wilhite and Miss Sandra Mabry in a couple episodes. And we've talked about the lady who started the program, which her name is Jennifer Wilhite. And today, Miss Jennifer's daughter, Calie Moore.
Yes.
Welcome, Calie.
Hi.
You're here to talk about the beginning, the story of everybody don't know.
Yes.
And I'm intrigued by it. And so welcome today, and I thank you for coming in and sharing your story because I know it's hard for you. It's emotional, and I get that. But as I was getting ready to do a show, typically I'd have your grandmother in or Miss Sandy or Luana, somebody. But I thought, man, Calie would be the one this year, I think, to put a new spin on it, like to talk to people about how it really, really got started. I mean, I know your grandmother's told the story before, but you were there having those conversations with your mother at your house when she was coming up with the idea. How do we do it? All that good stuff. So I want to go ahead and, tell us a little bit about Calie and then tell us how the program got rocking and rolling, and we'll come up to speed as we are today.
Yeah. So kind of like you mentioned, I'm her daughter. She had 3. Yeah. I am the middle child. That kind of puts me... I was the boss.
You're in the middle of everything.
Middle of everything. The program, though, it kind of started, my mom worked for DeSoto County Schools. She really saw a need in the community. She kind of saw it firsthand.
She was like a nutritionist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she worked in the nutrition department. So she was dealing with it, firsthand, seeing every day these children, noticing that there was a need in the community. A little bit of background about my mom is she showed her love through cooking.
Right.
No, if you came over to the house, you got some type of food somehow.
Right.
And she just had a firm belief that nobody should go hungry, and especially children.
Absolutely.
So she was coming in every day. She was feeling like there was just this need pulling her to do something. She was voicing her concerns. She was really struggling with how she could make a difference, how she could impact. And she came across, after doing research, backpack meal programs.
Yeah.
And she said, I could probably do that. And so she kind of ran the idea by my mamaw.
Yeah.
And my mamaw thought that was a great idea. We reached out to her.
Mamaw, Billie Wilhite, by the way. Miss Billie, a lot of you will know her. She's been a staple in the community for
years.
Well, longer than I've been alive, by the way. She's very impactful. If a lot of you don't know her, you need to check out some of my past episodes, from a EMT to a teacher to just a upstart with community service organizations, and then obviously helping your mother get this thing off the ground.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
She was a pillar of the community.
Still is.
My grandmother still is.
Yeah.
She absolutely just blows me away with how amazing she is.
I want to be just like her.
Oh, I say it every day. I want to be just like her when I grow up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to talk about her age, but I mean, I know, 85. But I know that at her age, man, she still got it.
She does, man. I don't know if she'll be too happy with me sharing this, but she attests that to getting up and doing yoga every morning.
She told me that. Yeah. You know what I teased her about? I was like, is it goat yoga? Because, that's a new thing.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, no, we ain't done that yet. So, but right. So she's still, she's very, she got, to me, she's like a 55-year-old woman.
Yes.
That's how I see her, because she's so healthy and going, and she's still super intellectual. Like, she's very aware of everything, and she's so open to receiving and very open-minded to things. That's what I love about her the most, because like someone raised in this community their whole lives, they could be very, very right-leaning, and your grandmother sees it from all perspectives. She just loves people, so that's what I love about her. So getting back to the story, as we got off on the little Miss Billie tangent, but your mother, the late Miss Jennifer, came to you with the idea, and you took it to Grandma. Or she took it to Grandma.
Yes.
And then they, of course, went and presented it to the church, Minor Memorial, which is in Walls, Mississippi.
Yes.
And at the time, they didn't know how they were going to fund this thing.
Right.
So the trick was, we get them support us. Maybe the parishioners get behind this a little bit.
Yes.
And they all was like, 100%.
Yeah.
We're behind you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead from there.
So the church saw it. They absolutely loved the idea. They jumped on board.
Yeah.
And it is 100%, has been from start, 100% volunteer.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to see a community come together and just work so hard to make this a success. So it was a lot of, fundraising in that aspect within the church, people making donations, things like that. And then it was a lot of sitting down during the week and going through weekly ads and finding the deal of the week.
Coupons.
The amount of coupons we found.
Oh, my goodness, man.
And at the time, we were doing all of this shopping in person.
So let me tell people a little backstory here.
Yeah.
Calie is 30 years old. We just established that. I still thought she was like 20. But the truth of it is you were 17, 18-year-old young lady when this all was starting to happen. So, so you weren't very worldly yet, but you understood the passion and everything that's going behind it. So to give it the backstory, this was more than a decade ago, and way before I got involved, by the way. However, my mother was, and we'll get to that story in a little bit, how I got involved. So, but the church, it started out, as your grandmother explained to me, it was just like maybe 4 or 5 kids in the beginning. And it kind of each week probably kept growing a little bit.
Right.
And so you're having to find more resources. And back then, food was a lot cheaper. You know, so it wasn't as detrimental now as it is, But as time went on, it got tougher and tougher to find the resources. And so then y'all start couponing to try to get the dollars to stretch forward further. And then, of course, I know this from my perspective, is all the ladies volunteering. Every single one of them, including my mother, who, by the way, loved couponing and shopping. So it wasn't like it was a task for her. However, they were going to find all those special deals. It started with y'all. You even told me that in a conversation where you and your mother would be out on the living room floor, cutting coupons out of newspapers and doing all that stuff, trying to find good deals on good quality food. Because your mother was a nutritional minded person. Like she's like, yeah, we want to feed them, but we don't want it to be just complete junk.
Right. She wanted something that would fuel them as well, because this is their meal to last them through the weekend. And she wanted to make sure that they were getting full and satisfied and able to come to school on Monday morning with a clear mind. So she was really focused on a lot of that nutrition, but she also believed everybody deserved a sweet little treat. So she made sure that
and you want them to eat it. One of my concerns is like, kids, I mean, they'll just throw it away because they don't know where it came from. So they don't have an understanding. So if you make it too healthy, they're not going to eat it. They're not going to eat it. So we want them to eat it. Even bad calories are better than no calories.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day. So, because that is some fuel, even though it's empty calories, but still protein, things of that nature. So she knew all that. So she had a plan. And from there, all them, I shouldn't say just ladies, but I bet you most of it was just ladies in the beginning. It was primarily your grandmother, your mother, and a few other ladies from the church probably just tackled this thing. Yeah.
It was, there was a handful of us. We were pretty good in there, getting in there. Wednesday night is how we started. We were doing it on Wednesday night. Now it's on Thursday where they pack and pray.
Pack and pray.
I love it.
I do.
And, I mean, it was all hands on deck. We had a lot of people that just showed up, showed out.
Yeah.
We would set up assembly lines, and I think they still do it that way, set up assembly lines.
They got a whole process.
Yeah. It's genius.
Yeah, it is.
And we just hit the ground running with it. I mean, like you said, it started with about 8 kids. It was, packing it on Wednesday night, delivering it on Thursday, I believe. Friday. Yeah, we delivered it Friday morning. And at the time, I would go to my college class, leave college after all my classes were done, run to the church, grab the buckets. I had, at the time, I drove a Chevy Cobalt, tiny compact.
Hot rod. Yeah.
Yes. And trying to put those buckets in there and maneuver them.
And this started with Walls, right? Primarily.
Yes.
Yeah, just primarily with Walls Elementary originally.
Yes.
Yeah, because there is a bigger need there than there is at Lake Cormorant. But we do both schools.
Right.
There's probably maybe 75% of it, or probably 65 to 75% goes to Walls still. The rest of it goes to Lake Cormorant.
Yes.
Just to be clear. So, but originally it was just Walls.
It was just Walls.
Gotcha.
And just trying to make them fit, those buckets fit in that car.
To get them down to school.
Get them down to school.
And deliver to Miss Nancy.
Yep.
Yeah, because my mother, this is where she comes into play. She worked at Walls Elementary as an assistant. And of course, she was concerned about every child every day. Like, man, she was worried about what they had on, if they got enough food, if whatever. That was just her. And so I think she probably knew your mother a little bit, but that was the connection. And for years, she was the liaison at the school, even though it was up to the teachers and the counselors. That was what by design. Your mother made sure of that because she had an in from the inside of the school district to make those connections. And but ultimately, it was my mother that was in charge of making sure it was distributed to all the right children, anonymously as well, to embarrass them, because there's a whole program behind this. And I'm sure your mother probably thought of that stuff. Yeah.
Thinking of the not embarrassing, that was really big and important to my mom.
Right.
Because this should not be a fear or a worry of a child.
Ever.
They should not have to be concerned of where their next meal is. But unfortunately, the truth is, it is an issue.
It is. And it's not always about money.
Right.
Sometimes it's just neglect. Bad parents. I mean, they exist, guys.
Yes.
Even though they got great jobs in the house, they're not good at keeping food in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my mom wanted to make sure that no child felt that embarrassment.
Sure.
Because ultimately the goal is that these children wouldn't necessarily need it for long, because we're hopeful. We want these parents to, be able to provide for their child on the weekend meals and things like that. But ultimately, you don't want a child to feel they're already hungry. They're already tired. They're probably upset or angry. I mean, they've got food anxiety.
All that.
You don't want them to have this on their back, too, where they have to walk in and pick up a bag, and now everybody knows.
Yeah.
So my mom wanted it to be completely anonymous.
Right.
In all parts, just because we want the children to feel safe. And we want to make sure that they are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she was really big on making sure that was anonymous on all parts. We don't know the kids' names. They don't know who's doing it.
Right. I try to tell people all the time, like, the only thing we know is a number.
Right.
Right. And I say we. However, I have no part of that, by the way. All I'm doing is just making awareness and raising money. That's what I do, guys. But I ask questions. And one of the things is like, they don't know who they're feeding. They just get a list from the counselor and the teachers who identify this special need. Mm-hmm. That was by design with your mother. It's like, hey, go find them. Which ones are really low? Which ones are having issues? Mm-hmm. Learning, holding their heads up, being listenless, as your grandmother would use that word.
Yes.
That is a good word, by the way. And as an adult, you know what it's like to be hungry. You can't do a damn thing. If you're hungry, you do just like nothing.
You're
can't keep your
hangry.
You're hangry, literally. Yeah, absolutely. So imagine being a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old child that don't understand why they don't have what they need.
Right.
And they just know their little bellies are hungry and they can't do anything. They can't pay attention. Mm-hmm. And so again, it goes back, and I think that she was very smart for that, and being extremely mindful of their little personalities. Mm-hmm. Some of them care less. There's a fact about that. Some kids could just care less. And then some are very, very astute. They're very, very like, oh my goodness, no.
Right.
So I applaud her for that, because I might not have seen that need to be anonymous. You know what I mean? I very much so. I think too, with the name of the program, did you come by that naturally, or was it already a name of another organization, or do you remember? I
don't remember exactly, but my mom was really good with coming up with different names for just all kinds of things. You just give her a general idea and she could come up with a cool, catchy name. Yeah. So I will say that she probably came up with this on her own.
Okay. I know there's other Feed My Lambs organizations,
right,
but I think the reason why I was forced to use it because of the separation of church and state. You could not have it as a minor memorial backpack program, ministry program. And that's what we call it. And we use the ministry in the word of it now because it is driven through that directive with the church,
right.
albeit it's a separate entity within itself, but one don't exist without the other.
Exactly.
It's at its own space, if you will. It's focused on individually, and the church just puts a ton of support behind it.
Yes.
And with all the administration fees, every bit of the money that we raise, by the way, that people are listening, every penny goes to buying food for the children. There's not one penny that goes for administration costs. The church provides all that. To me, that's the support the church provides the most. I think my getting involved with Randy, by the way, my partner, which you haven't met, but Randy Hendrickson and his wife, Kay, they're my partner in this. And I think between what we did with the fundraising, we've took the burden off the church to where they can focus on other community things like their Golden Cross and things of that nature. They do. And I know I talked to Pastor Sam over there, which, by the way, shout out to Pastor Sam. He's doing great. I love his little videos he does too.
Yes.
So, and I watch them all, Pastor. So anyway, however, the goal is to create a separation of church and state. So they had to come up with something that wasn't church related, but it still sends a message, because it's a verse in the Bible, right?
Yes.
So I didn't know that either. That tells you what I know. And so that's awesome. And they all just love it, And this year I was a little nervous. I got to tell you the story real quick. Where our logo, and this comes just from me sitting there thinking, we need something. By the way, if you look at her shirt, this is our new logo, and it's Feed My Lambs. But we wanted it to be more descriptive. We wanted it to have a backpack, so it kind of said what it was.
Right.
So my daughter, Ashlyn Colley, shout out to Ashlyn, who helps me with all this. She's amazing. Her little... her grandma's a little mini me growing up, but she has the same heart as me and my mom. And so she helps me a ton with this, her and her wife, Hannah. They both are just so intelligent and smart to like things around them, And I said, well, I need something that describes better what we're doing, because the logo's cute, no doubt about it.
Right.
And it's been there, exists. I was so afraid of the change. I'm like, oh my God, Miss Billy. You know what I mean? She's going to how's she going to handle this? Miss Sandy, I thought somebody made that logo, and none of them could tell me who made the logo. That was the whole thing. Like, I didn't know where it came from. So the original one, but it was cute, and it had the saying on it, and all that stuff, but it was very difficult when I'm trying to promote this.
Right.
I needed people just to be able to see it and identify with it immediately. And that's kind of what I was after with the new logo. It's got the backpack in front of the little. Yeah.
And I absolutely love this new
thank
logo.
Ashlyn. Ashlyn.
Thank Ashlyn. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she did it. So all I did is like, heck yeah, that looks awesome. What I mean? And so then I was scared for a few days before I approached her grandmother with it. And so I think I even drove to her house or something. I can't remember what I did, but I was like, and she's like, Neil, I think it's the most amazing thing. It looks beautiful. And that was just like the go ahead for me. I didn't need to know nobody else's opinion, even though Sandy was important, Luana, all of them.
Right.
But she was the real one for me. And at the time, probably you should have been too, but I think it was before I'd met you, like to where we conversated at my mother's celebration of life back in May.
Yes.
And I had thought, I got to get her involved. I'm hoping she's past her mother's passing enough to where she can get involved, and it's something we share now, although your mother went way too soon. You know what I mean? By the way, a young lady. My mama, I think, did too, even though she was 75, but still, I thought she had 20 more years in her for sure.
Yeah.
I thought she literally would have buried me. I really do. Because, she was just loving life, living crazy. She was living a 40-year-old woman's life. You know what I mean? It was kind of nuts, really, to think about it, because she just had the energy for everything, and the kids were her passion, and her friends. She never met a stranger, and I think I didn't know your mother. So can you kind of like express your feelings towards how she was in life, like with the program? I know we get all that, right?
Yeah.
But you knew my mother, and you knew Miss Fancy Nancy.
Yes.
And the red lipstick and all that stuff and the crazy dresses. And you never knew what she was going to show up with, a sailor's outfit, cheetah print, something, So
she was so fun.
She was just alive, just alive. But what I'm trying to get at is, did your mother have that same type of just go after it type personality?
Yes and no. She was a little bit, I don't want to say shy. She could definitely walk in a room and captivate the whole entire room. Right. She didn't meet a stranger. She could talk to anybody. Sometimes you're like, come on, Mom.
Yeah, I know
it.
Man, look, my kids, and My mother, you go to Walmart, everybody knew her, and of course I've become that way too through this. Like people just tend to find you, and know you. So like you'll be in Walmart talking to people for days, and the kids are like, you go by yourself. You know what I mean? Because like we're not going to stand there all day and listen to this. So.
Oh yeah, and I think my name's Calie, but everybody just pretty much called me Jennifer's daughter,
right?
Because that's just how it was associated.
Or Miss Billy's granddaughter.
Yes, yeah. But my mom was she had a very big heart. Obviously with Feed My Lambs, but she had it in other aspects. She just thought the world deserved love and kindness. Better. Yes.
So one of my things I live on, Calie, and it has come to me in the last couple of years. Like people often ask me, and I'm sure your mother got this same thing. Why do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an agenda. It's just love. Yep. You know what I mean? Like I want to help people do better. I'm doing good. You know what I mean? Like not even talking financial. I'm just talking about health and family and the people around me and friends. Like they're going through some struggles too, like all the time. So I want to be that person to help them. And I think probably your mother too. It's like there really wasn't, it was just, there was no agenda. It was just like, I see a need. I have the ability to probably help. And I think from what I can understand from your grandmother's stories, my mother's stories about your mother, because she lived another year and a half past, or no more than that, 3 years.
About 3 years. Yeah.
So I have had a lot of conversations about her because she loved your mother. You know what I mean? And she just like was in awe of what she was doing. She's like, this is the most amazing program we have, So, but again, it goes back to that people don't have to have a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure your mother just seen a need and she thought, okay, I've got access to the school district. I've got the ears of the whoever needs to be, principals and counselors and teachers. And they probably listened to her a great deal. And so when she probably implemented the program, they were probably like, yes, please, and then she had to go find a way to make it happen. And again, we go back talking about the great church, your grandmother, all the wonderful people. But as we, and trying to figure it out, it goes deeper than just having an idea. You got to implicate it. So you got to see it through. And until the day she passed, she was still seeing it through.
Absolutely.
And she was still trying to fundraise and she was still trying to bring awareness to the program.
She was, literally till her last day. It was something that, she was passionate about. And I think not a lot of it, but some of it is, there was a time in my childhood where my mom was a single mom trying to provide for 3 kids. And, at the time, I don't really know how that felt or what she was doing, but I do know my mama was working hard and making sure that we had food on the table.
Couple of jobs.
Yeah, I think at one point she had 3 jobs.
Wow.
And she was just in.
So she understood the struggle.
Yes.
Without judging the parents. Like, she understood it.
Yeah. And I think that she felt and could relate to the parents in the situation, but she also, I think, felt and related to the kids because she was so in fear that we would feel that.
Absolutely.
And that was something that I'm very fortunate. I did not feel that. My mama made sure that we had food and stuff, and we are very blessed by that.
The only time I was ever hungry is when I missed dinner. That's all. Like, I've never been without food, in my life. Thank goodness, man. I had amazing parents and people around me, and we, and that's, real quickly, to kind of tell you, when I found out about the program, folks, it was literally the day that Miss Jennifer passed because my mother was devastated. And I wasn't sure what she was telling me because I didn't know about the program or your mother. Right. Either one. So it was a late night conversation. I've talked about this before, and I was doing like, oh, yeah, that's terrible, Mom. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, like just doing the whole like again, but we talked a lot every day, and so that was our thing at night, and then when she started talking about Miss Jennifer, she goes, and Jennifer's passed away now. And I'm like, who died and what program? That's how I found out. The day she passed. So when you and I were talking, I just got this feeling about me. I was like, man, like this is really like it comes back around now. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was like it was meant to be that we were talking about that day, and somehow it took over me that night. I tell the story all the time. I went to bed just on my mind, like, how is this even possible that this is an issue in today's society? Because I didn't experience it as a child. I might have seen a few of my schoolmates going through something, and I didn't realize it because you're young, you don't realize what they're going through. None of my friends were ever without food. We all had good parents, but I'm pretty sure I can thinking back now, there was a couple of those in my class that probably wasn't getting everything they need.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it's clothing, sometimes it's food. It's all that stuff. And love, just genuine love. Somebody cared about you, you know? So when I picked up that same passion, I went to my wife who worked at the school and my mom, all of them, and asked their opinion about it. And because I didn't know about it. I mean, like, my kids went to school there, but that's part of the problem is because if you weren't involved in it or a volunteer or a teacher or something like that, or a receiving family of the portion, you wouldn't know about it because they kept it kind of separated. They didn't want to announce it to the public. You know what I mean? So when my mom told me a story, and I'm sure your mother battled with this, all right, getting money and funds because, you know, that's the struggle. You can coupon all you want, but you still got to have the money coming in to at least pay for that portion of it. So when I found out, I knew she'd been sick, right? And when my mom told me the story that night, she goes, and so the program was really low on funds. And so that's when I woke up the next day, and I don't know what happened, but, you know, here we are. We're coming up on our 4th annual barbecue fundraiser for Feed My Lambs, and every year I'm trying to grow it and make it bigger, and it has, you know, and now we've got them in a better place. I wouldn't say great, but it's in a better place to where they're not worried about that anymore. Like, they're not having to go and run and grab special deals that they found out about today. You know what I mean? So they're not having to do that anymore. Although they're smart shopping, they're still doing it as cheaply as they can. They're finding resources. They are. Luana and all of them do a great job at that. However, it's not the same worry it was 4 years ago. Right. And I hope that would make your mother extremely proud that we've got it to a place to where it can last for a while. Yes, you know, it absolutely would. It's not stress. You know, like, I bet she had the most stress ever just trying to keep this thing funded. She did. Just worrying about, like, can we continue it next month? You know, do we have enough funds in the bank? Do we have to go back to the church? Do we have to go, you know, and I know they had some great donors, even outside the church, that still contribute to the program to this day. I'm aware of that. And please continue, folks. If you're listening to us, man, go find that. It's a minor memorial. Shoot, let me read this off. I got so much stuff going on. So it's minormemorial.org/lambs. And you can sponsor one child for a week, a month, a year, whatever you want to do. With the fundraiser we're doing right now, you can be a part of that. Buy a barbecue butt. Yes. Ribs, buy a truck ticket, come to the car show, whatever. Yes. But we're going to have a huge show this year. But that's what I know I had to do. That's the only thing I could do is how do you get, I know why they were broke, because nobody knew about the program, you know? And she probably didn't have the knowledge or the ability, and I still don't know how I do it either, by the way. It just kind of come upon me, and it was like it was meant to be. But she may not have had the time or the resources to do what I do. You know what I mean? And just the want to. You know, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a ton of work to kind of coordinate and network all the people and then get the validity of the program in people's minds to where they're like, okay, they're doing something, you know what I mean? Really good. So I bet you, man, that was like probably the biggest stress in her life, you know, and just trying to make sure your girls were raised properly. And at the time you had a sister that was probably like 8 or 9 years old, right?
Yes. She would have been, 8, I think.
When y'all started. So not only did she have you, and then you have an older sister that's 4 or 5 years older, right? Yes. Yeah. So spread out a little bit. Like, you guys are all spread out. So you're helping raise the sister and helping mom and helping her with the program. And grandma, I know, is always there. Billy's always there in the background helping, doing everything. She's the boss. We know that. So the ladies at the church tell me, well, if we need to talk to Miss Billy about this because she's the boss. That's what they tell me all the time. So, but I not knowing your situation back then, I can only assume it was just dire at times, you know, like trying to make sure this program kept running, you know, and so that's the least I could do. I thought, man, that's easy. We just got to bring awareness, and we'll get awareness, the money will come, you know. Well, it's not just that simple to come to find out. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. You know, I was fortunate enough that right after she passed, we were able to get a few friends together, and we funded it through the end of the year, and that's kind of how we started. But after that, man, I was like, I become a taskmaster for Feed My Lambs, you know, like how we're going to do it bigger and better next year, and it's turned out real well. But not without a lot of partners, though, man. I'm telling you, I could name a list long as my arm, right? You know, and I'd have to do a whole show. I really would. But the most important people are Randy and his wife, Randy Henderson and his wife with RoofWorks, and they don't like to me to talk about them about this because they like to do it on the side. But so what? I'm doing it, because I couldn't even do what I do without them, honestly. You know, because they're the ones who fund this for me, you know, and they help me go. And the ideas, Randy's a great person to bounce ideas off of, and I'm sure you were that person for your mother. after we talked, you were that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of late night conversations and planning and trying to organize.
Yeah.
I can't even keep track of how many conversations we had.
Oh, yeah. And then just finding out like, well, this ain't working right. Maybe we need to start doing it this way or whatever, to the program we have now that is like a machine from the standpoint of the volunteers and the ones who get the food ready. That was a startup. I mean, you really are starting a business in a way, like you had to figure out how to make it all work and all the logistics of it to make sure that it was done right. Like you talked about packing in your vehicle, trying to get all the stuff in there, and now I don't know who they use. I know that Sandy and them do a great job with the volunteers. They got people delivered to the school and they have their liaison there. Miss Betty Spooner. I always want to mention Miss Betty because she's still out there grinding, every day for Feed My Lamb. So she's the one who now that distributes all the food at the school levels at Walls Elementary. And I'm not sure who the person is at Lake Comrade, but I mean, Miss Guns, that's what they call her. She's the counselor up there. I think she may be doing it herself, to be honest with you. Shout out to her because she does an amazing job as well. And that's at the Lake Comrade Elementary. But looking back on it, as time went over, like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, I mean, I got in it like a decade after it started, right? So what was the biggest struggle through that time? Was it just the money or what was the problem?
It's always been exceptional with the people that volunteered. I mean, people showed up consistently.
Every day. Yeah.
Which is wonderful. We couldn't be more blessed with that. And it really was. It was financially just, you don't know. At the time, I want to say it started at, it was like $4 to feed a kid for the weekend. Now it's gone up to about $6, $7 to feed so that cost, even then it was a little struggle. That's
for the whole weekend, by the way, guys. So they really packing a lot of food in there for that $6 or $7. I'm going to tell you, I mean, it's some of it's simple stuff, but it still costs. Everybody knows what costs. Everybody right now, if you are alive today, groceries have gone through the roof, and so we're trying to still stay at that same level, the same quality and all that stuff. So with LaWanna, by the way, I'll credit her the most for this. She's very smart about how she goes about buying in bulk and things of that nature.
Yes.
So she really stretches a dollar a long ways. And she was telling me some weeks it's a little less than that because she uses points from her, whatever. I mean, she's really sharp on that stuff. So shout out to LaWanna Beasley.
Yes, she's amazing.
She is.
But we just really, we just made it work. You just kind of go.
It just kept going. Yeah, like somehow or another it kept happening, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Some days we don't know how. We just know that.
Your grandmother told me that.
Yep.
She said, man, I don't know sometimes, Neil. It was like it was about to be over and then boom, somebody would come in and help us and it was back on the road again.
Tremendous.
Yeah, it was huge. So, I guess at the time, whoever the pastor was probably seen, where he or she needed to step in and make sure the program was solid. I'm sure that happened at times too. I'm aware of the fact they appreciate me and Randy doing what we do.
Absolutely.
I know that. And so I always get mad. Stop thanking me. We're here. We're doing it. I know you appreciate it. So let's just do the job. Because I don't take compliments well. I don't know why that is because I'm not doing it for that. Like we're really just trying to make sure we help these children. And I think from the same perspective as your mother did and your grandmother and yourself, and I don't want to leave out your sisters. Like probably both of them were in different places in their life. You were just at a perfect age to help your mother. That's what it was, and it probably bonded y'all a little more,
Absolutely.
Creating this program together in a way,
Yeah.
And I would say yours just, essential as she was because you were pushing her. And we can do it, Mama.
Yeah.
And this is the ideas. Let me help you cut those coupons. Let me go deliver this. So that's awesome.
And it, it kind of became, I guess you would say, like a hobby for us. It was something that, I'm in college, so I really don't want to be writing my paper right now. Let me go in here and help.
Let me do something else. Yeah.
Like it was my way to get out of that. But it also just, like you said, it brought us closer. I always knew my mama was that type of person, but it's nice that other people got to see it.
She left a legacy. She really did, like with a program that's so essential in our community. There's others. And I've been told by a person that they modeled theirs after ours.
Yes.
After the one your mother started. It's a different name, but it's the same principle. So people learn, like you set an example and you can say, well, dang, if they can do that, we can do it.
Yep.
And I imagine most schools, I don't care where they're at, I bet you there's need there.
Absolutely.
I promise you, I don't care if it's in the richest district in the city or the state, there's still some kids suffering in there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And so I think they get forgotten about sometimes. And it sounds like your mom didn't want them. That was her whole goal.
Yeah, she was the underdog rooter for sure. She
I'm that
cheered
guy.
them on. Yep.
Yeah, the disenfranchised. That's my whole goal in life.
Yes.
It could be a dog on the side of the road, man. Like I'm telling you, my wife's like, nope. I'm like, just look at it.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm that one. I bring home the animals.
Yeah. So, man, I just tell you, I think it's just so impactful, the program and what your mother and your grandmother and yourself and the church and all the people that's been involved through the years. But the reason why I wanted to have you on, because I feel like this is truly your legacy now, you know, and I really do believe that. Like, I believe it's especially the way we reconnected at my mother's event,
yes.
you know, and I got talking to you the other day, and I was like, man, she is special. I can see it in her eyes. She's just like her mama. And I said, I bet she can do this. And I've got the blueprint set in place, you know, for the easy part. You know what I mean? I think that the ladies at the church and at the school level is doing the hard stuff. You know what I mean? This is a lot of work, but it's a little different. You know, I'm not packing food. I'm not ordering food. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just using my community connections to bring awareness.
Right.
And I think that you and me together can do more.
Absolutely.
You know? And I want you to be a part of this legacy, and you're ready. You told me you're ready.
I am so ready.
It took you a little while, I think, just because of the loss. You know?
Yes. Just because my mom's passing was pretty sudden.
Yeah.
And it was a big shift in dynamic. At the time when my mom passed, my sister was still 17.
Yeah.
So I had to step into that role.
Be a mama.
And
yeah. Big sister, mama.
I'm hoping I've done a good job.
But yeah, absolutely.
I think that my shift, you know, my focus shift in that moment, just the grieving and stuff. But this is something that I do hold dear in my heart. Because much like my mom, I show my love through cooking and making sure you have food and a drink. And
what are you going to cook, Calie?
Whatever you want.
Cheesecake. I love cheesecake.
I will do my best.
Coconut cake, any kind of cake. Pretty much.
I love a good coconut cake. And yes, I'm actually going to try my hand at my mom's pumpkin rolls and homemade Swiss rolls.
Yeah,
so.
You got to try to bring some of that to the fall festival they're doing.
Yes.
Good.
I'm going to attempt.
I'm going to give them a little shout out because they are doing a fall festival at the church, and I don't know what date that is, but if you go to the Minor Memorial website that I mentioned earlier, it'll show you all that stuff. And man, there's probably, I don't know how many people are out there, but there's a ton of them out there.
There's a ton. And if you are a vendor, you can rent a space and set up a table.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure the fee or anything, but
$40.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Oh, is it 40?
Yeah, because I've been having some vendors reach out to me about mine. They were confused.
Yeah.
They were thinking like, I'm like, yeah, but you can come. Like, I mean, you can show up. I'll set you up a spot because really what I want it to be is like a community event.
Right.
Yeah. But I wasn't charging. You know, only people, I mean, I just told them all, like, look, if you want to donate, if you have a good day, donate.
Yeah.
But I want everybody from the community that has something special they're doing. I talked to Quinley Bee Wranglers the other day. They're going to bring a table with their local honey that they source here. And I said, look, she goes, what you fee? And I said, nothing. I want you to do good. And then if you do good, but you live in our community, so I want you to do good. That's what I'm after. The people that are paying are food vendors. Like I've got a couple and they just like, I let them decide what to pay. I didn't even ask them because I'm not getting the money. The program's getting the money. Mm-hmm. So I said, if y'all have a good day, and they're like, well, we'll just agree on this price. All three of them said the same thing. And I said, okay, then that's what you do. So mine's a little different. I'll probably have, I don't know, half a dozen vendors selling some stuff there, but it's all unique individual things like, but mainly what I've organized this year to make it more of a community event, and I think your mother and my mother would love it, is because of the fact that I've invited these other organizations that are doing great things in the community, you know, from the Hope Center, House of Grace, things of that nature, Miss Ann Lunsford's Precious and Pink House. I mean, the Warrior Center for Women. These are all very essential programs that we have in our community that are doing volunteer work in the most part, or they're a nonprofit that has to have some leadership role, but they all depend on donations. Mississippi is not a place to come for a freebie. And we don't fund our things well. We rely too much on our churches and our public to make these things happen.
Right.
If it wasn't for churches like Minor Memorial, Compel, Brown Missionary Baptist Church, all those programs, I mean, I could sing the praises about a lot of them that really put their money where their mouth is, you know, so to speak, to help programs. We'd be suffering. You know, as a community, and I know Mississippi says we ain't got the money. Well, I don't know if I quite believe that.
Right.
I think they do. They just choose not to. They're afraid that they will get too much of an influx of hanger owners in their minds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big proponent of like, you can help people till they can help themselves.
Right.
That's the whole goal. And I think that's what Female Lambs was started on.
Yes.
Is to kind of like help them until they do a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them stay on it for a while, you know. Sometimes it's a couple of years. We can't help who we're born to.
Right.
All right. So as a child, Miss Jenna Kern that runs the Dream Center, she told me, and it was a wonderful quote she had. She goes, look, when it comes, I just err on the side of the child. I don't worry about who they belong to. I'm going to feed them. You know what I mean? And I'm going to help them. So we can't go into like, well, when I was a kid, my mom, look, man, I don't care. I don't care what color you are, what race you are.
Absolutely.
I don't care what religion you are. I don't care who your mom and daddy is. A child is a child. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And so we're going to make sure they're fed. That's what the Female Lambs program is about. You
Absolutely.
know? And some of them may need it, like they can get off of it at times. And I think that does happen, you know, to where they get pulled off of it. And
I think it happens more often than people think.
Yeah.
Because people just go through hard times. I mean, in today's society, I mean, there's so many people that are just going through a hard time and they just need a little grace, a little love.
A little grace. I love that. And also, I'll tell you this story real quick and then we'll talk about some other stuff. But one of the most impactful things I've had happen to me in the last 4 years of doing this, or whatever, fourth annual, third year, I'm confused on the timing. But however, I run up on people and I'm always trying to sell the program, especially around this time of year.
Yes.
Whoever I talk to, I'm telling them, come to our event, whatever. And so one day I walked in to a wing shop over in Horn Lake, and I was ordering my food, and it was late. And I think I was just a week out from the Female Lambs program event that year. And the young lady behind the counter, I mean, she's probably like 20, you know, or something like that. And she's like, well, you look like you just exhausted or something, you know? And I'm like, well, I kind of am, to be honest with you. She goes, from work? And I said, well, it's work. But I said, it ain't the kind of work you're thinking. And I told her what I was doing, and she's like, oh my God. She goes, that literally saved me and my siblings, you know, for quite a while. Like, that's all we could rely on the weekends. Man, when I heard that story, it just gave me more oomph to go, you know, because, you know, I hadn't met anybody at that point in time that had like any connection to it other than our side.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a few teachers or something, you know. So that was really, really impactful to me. And then just recently, because we were talking about the vendors, and I won't say this lady's name, but just out of the blue, I got a call. And lady's like, hey, I heard you were having a festival. And I'm like, well, I'm having an event. You may be thinking about the fall festival, because they're within a couple of weeks of each other.
Yes. At
the same place. And I said, but what you got on your mind? Because I'm open-minded to things. I was wanting to see what she did. So she started telling me, and she goes, well, I'm like a literacy advocate, and I do tutoring, and I try to sell these little children's books to help with literacy. And I'm like, you're in. You know, like I'm like, you got to come. And she's like, well, that's great. How much you charge? I'm like, nothing. I was like, I just want you to come and try to let people know in the community what you're doing. Maybe they can get behind you. Maybe they can buy a few books, whatever the case may be, to help your program. And she's a tutor, so she also helps with like reading and comprehension and things. Yeah. So, and I was like, well, where are you from? She goes, well, I used to live in Walls down in, she named it the neighborhood. And I'm like, well, dang, I live over there. And so did my mama. She goes, who's your mama? And I said, well, you probably know Miss Nancy. And she just like, what? Miss Nancy's your mother? And I'm like, yeah, she passed away last year. And she's, you know, again, she did that, you know. And I said, by the way, do you even know what you're coming to? Like the festival or the event? No, I just, you know, a friend of mine gave me your number and said that you might be looking for vendors, you know. And I said, what's the Feed My Lambs organization? And she, again, you know, type thing. And she goes, man, me and my daughter survived on that for a period of time. Yeah. And she said she was eating out of it, trying to share it with them. Again, man, just another, you know, like this is why we're doing it, because you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Right. You know, and so I don't try to see it as they could do better, you know, type thing. I just don't worry about that stuff. All I can worry about is children. Right. You know what I mean? And I've said this 100 times. Out of the 130 to 150 we feed a weekend through the program, Calie, if all of it's a waste, except for one child.
It's all
worth it. It's all worth it. It's worth every penny because somebody, a collective group of folks, a bunch of us, by the way, are making this happen.
Right.
But I can tell you right now, that's not the case. There's a lot of kids that rely on this, and it's watched after pretty closely. I mean, they never want to take food away from a kid that still wants it, obviously, but if they'll, like, hey, are you still needing this little bit of help at home and stuff, and they're like, actually, things are good right now, then they'll talk to the parents and they'll figure out if they can pull it back. They're just not going to jerk it away from them. That ain't the way it works.
Right.
So I just, again, I just see the impact from that side. I don't know if you've ever heard stories like that or if you've known children that's been on the program that grew up and then all of a sudden now they're like, shoot, yeah, that's how I lived for a while,
Personally, I don't know. And I think that that's okay. I love hearing the stories. I think they just tug on your heartstrings.
They do, man. I think I get them because I'm out in the wild a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just out. I say that, out in the wild. And what I mean by going to town. And around here, if you go to town, you're out in the wild.
Absolutely, yes.
So, and I run into them at Walmart and Kroger and places like that, and just like that lady contacted me and I just gave her, if I'd have just said like, nah, I ain't interested and hung up the phone, I'd have never got that great story.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I found out that she knew my mother. And it turns out her daughter was at my mother's house quite a bit.
See, it's small
all the time.
world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't mention her name because I don't want to embarrass her by not knowing, but she's doing good things, you know, now. She's 10 years past the program and her kids are doing great. She's doing great. And she's in a place now and she's like, oh man, I'll be there. I'm going to donate. Don't worry. You know what I mean?
Love
that type of thing.
So much.
Yeah, absolutely. Once they figure out where it's at. So, and I tell the one lady that night, I said, you may not be able to now, the one at the wings store that I was at.
Yeah.
I said, you may not be able to now, but now that you know that where it came, she's like, I didn't know where that came from. And I explained to her, I said, well, man, there's a whole, group of folks that's trying to provide that for y'all on the weekend. So I said, but if you can't do it now, just remember the program. And if you can give back in some way, it's just sharing the information, like talking about it, letting people know they need help. You may not be able to do it now, but maybe in the future. And it don't have to be a lot of money. As I said, $5-6 a week.
Yep.
You can sponsor a child. Maybe not every week. I had a lady a few weeks back. I had the 78 C10 Resto Mod that I'm raffling off October 11th. I was up at Dale's Restaurant in South Haven. My friend Jen Lasapio reopened it. And I was out there selling tickets. They're $100 a piece, by the way, which is a big number for people, especially now. This lady walks outside and she was just a waitress or worked in the back of the house or something. She goes, look, I don't have $100, but I got $5. I want to donate it. I'm like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's what we really need. So when she seen what I was doing and what I was doing it for, she's like, I wished I had so much more money. She goes, I don't even want the truck. I just want to help them kids.
Yeah.
That's what she told me. So I think once people understood what's going on, I have a big contributor that's worked for me. He's been with me from day one on this program. But he only was helping me because it was me. He's like, whatever Neil's doing, I'm just in it. So he's a big business guy. He didn't really know what I was doing. So I was talking to him today, of all days. I called him. I'm like, Chris, and I'll just say his name, Chris. I said, I need your help. He goes, okay, man, what do you need? And I said, my program. He goes, well, we're buying the butts. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And I appreciate that. You've been with me from day one. But we need more. And I said, and I don't think, I didn't want to judge him, but I mean, he's not going to miss it. I'm just telling you folks, he's the kind of guy, he would never miss it. And so he's like, and I started telling him about the program and he paused for a second. And he said, I had no idea that's what you were doing. He said, you can count on me. That's what he told me. So again, he just wasn't aware. Right. And I get these stories, and I can mention his name. I don't think he'll mind. Mr. Alan Salt. He's a huge, huge supporter of ours. I mean, big, probably one of the biggest, by the way, financially. And I approached him a couple of years back. He literally has a business right behind Walls Elementary. Really? And I walk in there and start telling him about it. He's like, Neil, are you kidding me? That's happening right here? I had no clue. I'm like, well, now you do. So again, it goes back to the awareness. Mm-hmm. People just don't know. They want to get involved, but they don't know how to give or where to give. Right. You know? And he's like, man, I'm going to give you this much this year. I'm going to save more next year to give to this program. And he did. Boy, he showed up and showed out for me this year. He really did. So the programs, I mean, I'm telling you, man, it really, something your mother started makes people aware. Mm-hmm. More so, you know what I mean? Like I'd have never been aware of it, you know, if it didn't exist, you know, who was going to do that? Maybe somebody to come along. You know, I've been waiting for 4 years now for another me to show up to help me. You know what I mean? and you're it. Calie, from now on, you're going to be me.
Ready.
You're going to be the
ready.
face and the promoter of all things Feed My Lambs. So, yeah. But anyway, I don't know, man. I just ramble on. I love the program. I love all the story, the backstory to how you got with your mother and you started this. And man, I just wished I'd have known her. I really do. You know,
she was amazing.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, who does this without being amazing? You know, to start it up, and I have no real plan. Just I know I got to do it. You know what I mean? So that's amazing. Your grandmother's amazing, and I know you're amazing, and I know your sisters are all amazing people too. Your nephew, I know him, and he's a really cool kid, and it's a family thing with y'all. Like y'all are very entrenched family people, so I know that, and I think that people could take notes on this. What Jennifer Wilhite did in her life. There's a legacy there, and Callie's going to carry it on, and her sisters.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to be a part of it too.
We're going to do our best.
Your little sister, the one, she's 21 now.
She will be 21 in a couple weeks.
She's got a new baby.
Yes, she does.
Can you give her a little shout out?
Hey, Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yes.
That's the baby.
That's the baby. Hi, Gabby.
Gabby's the mama. You know, when you become a mama, Gabby, people just forget about you a little bit, to be honest with you. It becomes about your kids. So,
yes.
And I know that y'all live together,
yes.
and you help her with Priscilla a little bit.
A little bit.
Of course, grandma's around. What do y'all call her? Mamaw?
Mamaw.
Mamaw. Yeah. I love it. I just know Miss Billy. I don't know any Billy women. You know, I take that back. I did know another one, and she was a teacher at my school in Alabama where I grew up.
That's funny because Mamaw was a teacher.
Yeah, it's true. So, although I'm not, not the same type of person. Your grandma's a way better person. So, but however, again, family oriented. You have an older sibling as well.
I do.
Yeah. You want to give her a little hi?
Hi, Logan.
Logan.
And then I also have another sister through my dad.
Okay.
So hi, Sophie.
Sophie. I didn't know about Sophie.
Yes.
Does she live local?
She's in Memphis.
Okay.
She's at the University of Memphis. Is it Memphis University?
I think it's the University of Memphis now is what they call it. Yeah. It used to be Memphis State.
Yes.
And now it's University of Memphis. And I mean, I like the university, but most people from around here still call it Memphis State. Yeah. They do. Yeah, because that's just what it was forever, you know. And somewhere along around like 20 years ago, it was a university. I think it gave them more clout. And I think a little bit more is to be a major university. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the difference between Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be at Cal College, you know, or any of that stuff like Mississippi State or Auburn or any of that stuff, you know. That's what they call them, you know, agricultural schools.
Yeah.
And by the way, most of the time when a state school is like that, they are more agriculturally based.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And so I think Memphis State, because they went into more of a law, I mean, they do everything, but still, though, not a Cal College, as people quote and joke about. So I think they went to university just to give it a little bit better, you know, presentation to the America, so to speak. So, and it's a great school again. Would she be interested in helping you in the future? Have you talked to her?
I think she would.
Yeah.
It would be something I would have to. She is
support you. It's your legacy now.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is a full-time college student. She is working her butt off, making her dreams come true, and I could not be more proud of her.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure she would definitely.
Well, what I will say is I'm not related, nor am affiliated with the church or any of that stuff. I'm just an average Joe out here that just become compelled to help. And I think that even though she's not directly related to everything involved, but she's related to you.
And she has a huge heart.
Yeah.
So I come from a family with big hearts.
I know that. I already know that. I don't know your dad, but I know, you know, the history of your mother and your grandmother and your grandfather and all those guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were always creating something new in the community. I think your grandpa and your mama started as part of the EMT program in our part of the county over there, and the fire department and all that. They had a big hand in all that stuff. So probably if you get your house caught on fire, you have to call the ambulance. Thank those people, because they are part of the reason why it exists. With some others for sure, but they were some of the original people in our Walls community that was actually spearheading those programs. You know, so. But again, man, I love it. I love what you're doing. I know that I'm looking forward to working with you a great deal on trying to keep the legacy alive. You know, we want the program to continue to exist, and it takes people like us to make it happen, you know.
Yes.
And from the financial side to now, your job's going to be a little bigger than that, because you're going to see it from the other side too.
Yes.
I don't have to deal with that. You know, I just ask questions sometimes, and they're like, man, yes, and please, thank you. I mean, that's all I get, you know what I mean? And they kind of let me have freedom to do whatever I want. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that because originally I was worried that like they're going to want to control the asset. Man, they didn't care. They was like, you're going to try to raise money for us, then we're all behind you.
Right.
So, and it's worked out great. We're such a great team. All I got to do is call them and be like, hey, I need this. The next thing I know, it's done. You know what I mean? And my wife and my children all have been involved because my mother loved the program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I failed to mention earlier was after she retired, she went home, and then all of a sudden every Thursday she'd disappear.
Yep.
And I'd be like, where's my mama? She wouldn't answer the phone. She wouldn't do nothing. I didn't know what she was doing. But pretty quickly I learned that she was at Pack and Pray on Thursdays.
Yes.
And she wasn't missing that. She would miss a doctor's appointment before she'd miss that. That was that big a deal to her.
Yeah.
So, and she would still go down on Fridays and help Miss Betty distribute the food, even after she retired.
Yeah.
You know, and they would work in the clothes closet and all that stuff. They even named that this year. Did you know that? The Fancy Nancy Clothes Closet at Walls Elementary.
I love that.
Yeah. They even put a big sign up there. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little tribute. So,
that's so awesome.
So with anything like that, you want it to continue on and you want it to build on. You want people to be behind it and support it, you know, and again, thank you for coming on tonight. Actually, we were filming this pretty late at night, guys. So that's why I said tonight. But today's show.
Yes.
And this will air about a week out from our event this year. So guys, remember, October 11th, Minor Memorial Church. It's up on Goodman Road between the Water Department and Dollar General.
Yes.
And we have a huge parking lot, a lot of grassy area. We're going to have a good time that day. It's going to be tons of food, tons of hot rods and cars. And we're giving away, the biggest deal is we're raffling off a really nice hot rod.
Super nice.
Derek posted up, you know, so he'll show it to us. Every time I mention it, he's probably going to be posting the picture of it. So, and the post in the page as well as the event page. But again, if you don't want to do that, just get involved from the standpoint of just being a good citizen and help take care of your community. And
there's so many ways to get involved with this.
Volunteer, spread the word. It doesn't have to be money, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you tell a friend.
That's right.
You know, post a status on Facebook.
That's right. Because that's what it was really lacking when I got involved.
Yes.
I realized that. You know, I think that the people was working so hard from your side of the table, your mother and others, they didn't really know that they needed to be preaching to the community.
Right.
Like that. And I use the word preaching because that's kind of what I do sometimes. And I'm not even religious. You know, that's the craziest part. Everybody I see, and I'll be honest with you, I knew when I was talking about Alan earlier, it was wild because I was down in like Como or somewhere, and which is like 40, 50 miles south of where I live, delivering a load of rock. And I'm in this cow pasture and this lady, and I just start talking to her about feed my lambs. All right. This is a couple of years ago. And she goes, where are you from? And I told her. She goes, you know Alan Salt? I'm like, yeah, I know him well, actually, you know. She goes, well, you need to talk to him because that's something he could really get behind. And so I was like, dang it, I didn't think about that. And this lady, I didn't know her. She was like from Arkansas. She just was down there helping her daughter-in-law do something, which turned out to be Alan's daughter. And so I call Alan. I'm like, you're never going to believe this. He's like, man, what the heck? Small world, huh? And I was like, yeah, it's real small. And I said, but here's what's going on. And he's like, I'm in. That's what he told me. And then when I went to his office, told him about the program, he's like, man, I am just blown away. I didn't know about this, you know? Yeah. There again, spreading the word, talking to people about it. And it made us, and I didn't feed my lambs, guys. Like if you have another organization you're aware of that depends on the community to support it, get behind them. It don't have to be huge things. You know, the Dream Center, the Hope Center, I mean, I can name 100 of them. You know what I mean? Like that I've met through the program. It don't have to be ours, just somebody's, you know, get involved. And I mean, always we know the biggest one around here is St. Jude's. I mean, we love that program. They do so much for the community. They've got a real healthy amount of support behind them at all times, and we got to continue to help them for sure. Yeah, because they do amazing stuff in the community, and there's some great people I've met recently that do big fundraisers for them at car shows, and that's great. But we have some real local stuff here, you know, that we really need to pay attention to. Yes, or it's going to disappear. Yes, and it relies on us as a community to make it keep going. Absolutely, it takes a village, and sometimes all you need to do is just let people know the village is there. That's right. And so we make them aware of it. Yes, you know, and like I said, at the end of the day, just give with a kind heart. You know that you're really impacting somebody's life, and you don't know how sometimes you are. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you really don't, and if you don't got it right now, maybe when you do have it, you know, just think about the program a little bit. Just remember, feed my lambs, feed my lambs. Feed my lambs. Just chant it. Yeah. And I'm going to get you a hat that has Feed My Lambs on it. I love that. The logo. Yeah, we're going to have you one made up. I'm going to tell Miss Sandy to put that on my to-do list. Okay. Yeah, so we got it. But thank you again for coming in today. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think we really covered everything. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity and this platform.
It's nothing, man. That's what I was going to do anyway. It's going to be you, Sandy, or Billy. That's how it works, or Lawana, somebody from the church. So I'm glad it was you this year. It's a new spin on what it is, a new face. And you're going to try to, the biggest problem with the program is it's not youthful. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is we have a very aging group of folks that's been involved with it for a while. And at some point in time, they're not going to be able to do it anymore.
Right.
And so we need a youthful group of folks to come in and help support this program and start running the program.
Absolutely.
And it don't have to go to that church. You don't have to.
You don't.
Just from a community aspect. If you live in Walls, Horn Lake, or anywhere you want to get a part of this, Lake Comrade area, Eudora, and it's impacting your local school, volunteer, get involved.
Yeah.
That's a big way to help, by the way. You don't even have to give money. Just a little bit of time would be good. And it's not a lot of time, by the way.
It's not. You could, we've got the pack and pray on Thursday. We have some that sort the food on Wednesday night.
Yep.
You've got those that need to deliver the food, pick up the buckets. There's lots of aspects of this and that all hands on deck.
That's right. And just like with our event, we have a lot of hands on deck that day just from a labor standpoint. Like we need just the logistics of moving coolers and getting tables set up and things of that nature. And we got great partners and all that. As for, it's all evolved over time. And we got some great partners coming in this year again that's going to help us. But again, just get involved. It don't have to be from the aspect. So I love the fact that we got a new lease on this thing with you, the youthful side. I told you that. That's what this program needs is youth. And look, if you're 55 or 60, you would be youthful in this program. I'm just telling you right now because I ain't talking about Miss Billy. She's 85, but
I'm not
she's gonna be mad
trouble.
at me. I know it. She loves me. She's not gonna be mad at that.
No, she's not.
She's the best example of an 85-year-old healthy, like got her mind, her body. I've never seen a better example of. I want to be Miss Billy. That's what I do. When I grow up, that's what I want to be.
Me too. Yeah. That's what I strive for every day.
You're lucky because you got her in your life and she can teach you. But again, just carry on the legacy of your mother and your grandmother and your grandpa and all those people that's done amazing things in our community. I'm just looking forward to it. And your sisters, be a part of that. I don't want to leave them out. By the way, the only reason why I didn't ask the other sisters because she does have the baby. It's new. And she's probably not as able to do what you and I are about to do. Yeah, as far as getting involved.
Yes, but she's, we've talked about it. She's ready. She's ready
She's going to help as much as she can.
Yes, absolutely.
Is she going to be able to be at the event this year?
I believe she's going to be there.
That's
she's
amazing.
Also going to have Priscilla with her.
Even better.
We might even just get Priscilla a little lamb costume.
We need one. She just has to have a whole one.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get Billy on top of that. She'll probably get her a lamb outfit right now. So anyway, guys, just remember our event. Remember Roofworks Roofing Company at midsouth.com, roofworksmidsouth.com. Check them out. They're super dependable, trustworthy people. They do amazing work. They back up their work. I'm not just saying that. I know that for a fact. They're not a paid sponsor in that fashion anyway to where I could lie. So I don't lie. So I'm just telling you, they're good, trustworthy people. So if you need a roof or anything done in your house, go support them because they support the community so much. I can't even tell you how much they give back. And they don't want me to tell, but I'm telling. They give a bunch.
Yep. And
a lot of their time, their money, their efforts, and it's all for just doing it for the right reasons. So support people who support you. And, buy from your neighbors, your friends, even if it's a little more expensive. It's all helping the community. It all gets back to us somehow. It gets into our school systems. It gets back into our households. Just shop local, do as much as you can, spend cash as much as you can. That's another one I love to tell people. And just, think about your neighbors as much as you can. Help them out. Remember, Feed My Lambs, October 11th. We're having our big car show fundraiser, barbecue fundraiser. You can order a butt, rack of ribs, buy a ticket for the truck, or enter the car show. All those things you can get through. Derek's probably prompting the event page right now. But my number, just so everybody knows, is 662-404-2364. 662-404-2364. If you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Calie, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're out. Bye.
Bye.